And there you go. Hey, check it out, guys, as well. Oh, for those on my microphone keeps falling down. For those on the audio experience, you won't see this, but normally, I'm kind of like Mr. Black T-shirt. Got a different colour T-shirt on tonight, guys. It actually looks a little bit flesh-coloured, so it looks like I'm probably a bit naked. I'm not. This is a T-shirt. It looks different to how I see it on camera than it does in real life. It's like a luminous orange in real life. It looks a little bit flesh-coloured in camera, like on the camera. So yeah, I have got clothes on. Thought you were in the nuddy, said Fanny. I knew it would as soon as I saw it on the camera. Then I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, I thought, let's mix it up. Let's not just have I've got like 15 black T-shirts. I might as well, actually start buying some stuff for summer now. We're getting a bit of sunshine. So good evening, everybody. Like I say, for those listening on the audio experience, massively appreciate you. I'm getting a lot of emails from people who are excited about listening on the audio experience because they can't make it live in the evenings for whatever reason. So I'm very happy to be serving you guys over on the audio experience. If you want to subscribe to that, guys, if you are watching live and you can't make one, you can catch them on the audio now on iTunes and on Stitcher. Just search for Act on This TV on iTunes and on Stitcher. And you can download it even before you go out the house. You don't have to use data when you're actually out and about. It's not going to be eating up all your phone data. If you're watching on YouTube, appreciate you watching the replay as well. And if you're watching on actonthis.tv and you've not got an account yet on the main site, get one. Just click above here for free. Get a free account. Got loads and loads of cool content coming up for you guys. Loving the podcast on Acts on This TV main site, says Steve. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, there's 150 hours worth of content with the biggest casting directors, interviews with the biggest actors, casting directors, producers, writers in the acting industry on actonthis.tv. Okay, I know we've got a massive Facebook group, but it's not just the Facebook group. There is a huge site, which is the main thing of Act on This, which is over at actonthis.tv. So please don't neglect that. That's massive. That's like literally the main reason Act on This exists. Okay. If you're not a member of the Facebook group as well, guys, facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. So tonight is the book club, and we are looking at something that actually I think the word gets a bit of a rough time, to be honest. The word motivation, because of motivational speakers or whatever, and those kind of life coach style people. I would never ever profess what I do is life coaching at all. It's more kind of like, I don't know. Well, it's positive psychology, but it's behavioural kind of stuff. It's like, why do people behave the way that they do? Life coaching, again, has a bit of a stigma attached to it, and I don't think, you need a coach to say this is how you should live your life. I think what I try and do is just help people understand themselves a bit more so they can figure that out. But yeah, we're going to look at tonight a word that does get a bit of stick, and that is motivation, okay? And the book we are reading for book club, this is the third week we spent on it, is the Motivation Manifesto by Burchard. It's an awesome book. I keep saying it every week that it looks like a Bible. It does. It looks dead serious, but it's not. Don't judge a book by its cover. It's really applicable to this one. And so far, we've looked at two main things over the last couple of weeks. We've looked at fear for once, okay? The cost of fear. And we all agreed on that Periscope 2 weeks ago that, fear, it paralyzes people, it cripples people, and 99% of the population allow fear to rule their life, okay? And we looked at, actually, particularly last week, we looked at the action you can take in your life, ultimately to kind of bend your own reality, okay? You mold your own reality. You don't have to be ruled by fear and just go, this is the lot that life has given me and I can do nothing about it. We looked last week at taking strategic action and massive action in order to get what you want out of your life. And then this week, we're going to look at something that's going to fuel that action. Because I thought after last week, I was like, well, you know what? It's all well and good telling people to say it's massive action, but I get emails from people every single day where they're like, Ross, I just can't be arsed today. Got no motivation. Give me some comments, like how you are generally with your motivation, levels of motivation. Julia's here. Julia Taylor, first day on Periscope. Good evening, Julia. Thanks for joining us. How are you generally motivated on a day-to-day basis, guys? Give me some comments. Do you get up in the morning, kissing the world, going like, come on, I'm running towards work and what I want? Not too shabby, says Fanny. Love your advice, and if I need guidance on something, you're just a message away. I am. People can always message me on Instagram, Sam. Absolutely. Martin is here as well. Good evening, Martin. Loads of it. Then feel the fear. Okay. That's Jen. All right, Jen. Jen's here. Loads of motivation, then feels the fear. Loads of people do. It's like, it's massive. Okay, but could be better. There's two things for me two processes that really affect my motivation. The first process kind of sustains motivation. And the second process that I want to look at and focus on tonight amplifies motivation. And they kind of like you can build on each process, but you've got to have motivation initially, obviously, in order to amplify the motivation that you've got in your life. So let me just get the chapter up that we're going to look at tonight, and we'll begin kind of reading this, guys, because it's critical. You can have all the ideas in the world, and if you're not taking action on them, they can be absolutely brilliant. But if you don't have the motivation to actually go after them, you might as well just forget about them. They're completely, utterly pointless. The first process for me, and again, we looked at this a little bit last week with the action side of things, is really what you're putting your attention on. Okay, so it's really like attention and effort. So what is the thing that you're after in your life right now, guys? Give me some comments, things that you're working towards in your business, in your life, in your acting career. And just think back to last Wednesday's book club, where we looked at the action you are taking. Where are you putting your action? Where is your attention, and is it actually on that thing? Because where you place your attention is going to be absolutely critical for how much motivation you have towards that thing. If you want to get a new agent and you're really motivated to do that, but you're putting all your attention on, I don't know, something completely different, then you're not really going to be able to sustain your motivation to get a new agent. Steve, I missed your comment. Steve said something that people are saying is awesome. I have too much on that. I lose focus on everything. Oh, right. Okay. So what's that, Trisha? You're focusing your attention in too many places so that you lose your motivation. Is that stability income through acting I want to achieve, says Sam. So Sam wants a sustainable income through acting. Well, again, where are you focusing your attention right now, Sam? Sign up for a screenwriting course this week. So yes, for once, somebody said there, taking a show to Edinburgh is what Gary's after. My focus is getting my first paid acting job is Stephen. Right, okay, so you know what you want. People kind of like quite clear on what they're after. So we've got to ask, where are you putting your attention? And then where are you, are you making enough effort in those areas where you're applying your attention? That's what we looked at last week for the amount of action you're taking. We asked that question, are you really taking enough action in your career? So let's have a look at how you can amplify your motivation, guys, all right? So that you can get up in the morning and you are like, right, I know what I want. I want to take this show to Edinburgh. I've got some motivation to do it, but I want to amplify this motivation so that I absolutely nail it. I'm going to read you parts of this chapter. As always, guys, I'm going to try and keep an eye on your comments. I'm going to try and look at the camera, but bear with me if I miss anything. I always say that, but I do miss some comments sometimes. So it says, so Brendan says, look, we've aroused our motivation and we have kept it burning. Okay, so you all are motivated, otherwise you wouldn't be here. All right, if you listen to this or you're watching this, you have aroused your motivation. Okay. He says, now let us grow it and condition it through every fibre of our being and into every facet of our lives. 2 choices will amplify our motivation to another level. And these are things I want to concentrate on this week, all right? So we've looked at our attention and our effort last week. Now we're looking at our attitude and our environment, 2 absolutely freaking massive things that are going to affect whether you actually get up and do stuff every day. Attitude matters, says Brendan. Free and motivated people are positive and enthusiastic about their goals, okay, and their lives. Yet look at the millions of people drowning in the quicksand of pessimism, gritting their teeth in contempt at their everyday experiences. Anger, hatred, and all the trappings of fear fuel the minds of the masses. And I think that's just true. I feel there's an epidemic of fear fueling the masses. Look how many Facebook posts have you had this week since Theresa May, since just yesterday actually in the UK. Tony, this won't apply to you in the States, but since Theresa May announced the snap election, general election here in the UK, how many posts of fear have there been on Facebook today? You just can't miss them, even if you want to miss them. You just can't get away from them. Everybody going, oh my God, this is terrible. The Tories are going to screw us. Everybody vote Labour. I'm not even going to get into it. But it's anger, says Fanny, more like bloody hate it. But it's fear. It's absolutely just people breeding fear and it just compounds, okay? And the masses are absolutely ruled by fear, all right? Anger, hatred, like Brendan says here. There is a dispirited gloom hanging over so many, he says. But why? Is there a sudden reason to feel profoundly more negative about life? No. The issue at hand is a failure to choose, it's that word I always use, to choose one's attitude. Most people rarely even think about their disposition or how they are energetically experiencing or contributing to the world. This inattention to how they think and behave and serve, this unconscious style, is costing them their dreams and legacy. So all those people who are putting all those messages on Facebook today that I see, and all these really long statuses about this, that, and the other, they're just completely, they're not contributing to the world in a very positive way whatsoever. And they're unconscious. They're just being ruled by the media. They're being ruled by what their friends have said on Facebook. Their friend writes some pro-Labour comment, so they feel they have to write a pro-Labour comment, otherwise a friend will fall out with them. Someone is scared of something, so other people get scared of the same thing because they feel it's a really big thing. Trust me, I'm not going to put any focus on this general election because if I'm honest with you, I don't give a shit. Because yes, I have a vote. I'll vote which way I feel I can. But apart from that, on that one day, there's very little else I can do. And for every minute I spend focusing on something that I have very little control over, that's another minute that I spend not focusing on my own life and my family's life and the people that I love and care about's lives. And people will go, I'll get loads of shit for that. People will be like, oh, but every vote counts and you should stand up for this, that, and the other. Whether the country is led by Tories or Labour, I feel they're all pretty much as bad as each other, to be honest. They all have promises that they put in their manifestos that never come to light. All I can do, and that's going to serve me better and serve my family better and serve my friends better, is for me to focus on building the best, very best version of me that I possibly can so that I can serve all my friends and my family to the very, very best possible way that I can. And if everybody just did that, we'd all be all right. Because we'd all be okay, because we'd all be able to look after ourselves and each other. So I would recommend people just focus on that. The world of politics scares me, says Steve. Well, don't be ruled by fear, mate. Okay, that's what we're talking about tonight. No fear in that. So most people, he says, rarely even think about their disposition or how they are experiencing or contributing to the world, and they're leaving their dreams and legacy behind. So just think of the people who have achieved great things, he says. Are they sullen and bitter? Nope. Are they negative and angry? No. What person ever achieved true greatness and fulfillment with a universally bad attitude? I've seen so many people with bad attitudes on Facebook today. Those with a miserable attitude rarely move the needle of the world towards progress. So like I say, people give me stick for not focusing on these things. But I'm like, if all you're going to do is focus on negativity, that's all you're going to see. So, you're in a worse position than me not focusing on it at all. Motivation never kindles anyone's soul to its brightest burn unless he or she is open-minded and fired with an enthusiasm for life. An open and positive disposition toward the world can attract people, bring joy into our experience, and channel the highest energies of the universe. So let us remember that in all circumstances, we can choose how we show up and feel and relate with the world. All right? So regardless of whether you think a general election in the UK is good or bad, you can choose to, have an open mind and just still be very happy about the fact that you even have the right to vote regardless, because there's a lot of people in many countries who don't have that. You've got to choose to be happy about it regardless, whether you like it or not. Otherwise, you're just going to bring yourself down, really. We must make it a game to meet difficult circumstances with a smile, says Brendan. Good-natured intent, humour, and a cheering voice that rises above the sombre murmurs of the aimless crowd. Keeping one's attitude positive, especially when the world conspires to make us mad, is one of the great accomplishments of life. Outside of our direct will, one way to keep ourselves sane and positive is to surround ourselves with people who are sane and positive. So this is the next thing we're going to go on to. So we've looked at choosing, so your attitude. You choose your attitude to the world right now. And the next thing is going to be your environment of where you place yourself. And, Fanny, I missed your comment. Will you say that again? Will you write that again? So sorry, I missed that. It was quite a long comment. It faded away. But yeah, I want to talk about, and I've mentioned it before, about the people you're associating with, the people you're surrounding yourself with, inside and outside of the acting industry, and how they are affecting you as well. Because if you are, all of your friends on social media are these bitter, twisted, somber, sullen people, and you're surrounding yourself with 5 of them, you're going to be the 6th one. Okay, whereas if you are surrounding yourself with 5 Tony Rosses, who's on the Periscope tonight, who's just like, a positive soul, who just looks at the bright side of everything, then you're going to be the 6th of those. And that's going to serve you so much better than focusing on those 5 miserable, sullen people who are just super, super negative. So Brendan says this, says, few things, do you focus on your end goals every day, Ross, as in your end goal for the year or the end of life, says Fanny. Okay, so you're talking about goals. So yeah, I don't know if we should cover that now or at the end. For me, okay, well, I guess this is relevant, actually. It's relevant because, this is something that does motivate me. So I have, and people will know that I'm massive on goal setting, and I do some real, like, strategic goal setting at the start of every single year. And I have an app on my phone called Evernote that I track those goals in. And what I do is I will review goals very, very quickly every single day, not like my, like anything that's like a year away or something like that. So I have goals that I'm working on right now that I will review every single day. And then what I'll do is every single night when I'm recording, I do this thing where I record 3 wins that I've had for the day. And then I create something called a punch list, Fanny, which is for the next day. And the punch list is the 3 things that I need to get done, or that I feel that I should get done the next day, that are going to be the highest contributing factors to those overall goals that I've reviewed that morning. So the answer is yes, I do review goals, but I don't go, right, what's my 5-year goal? And I'm going to review that every night. Just, that's just not efficient, I don't think, at all. So right now there's 3 things that there's more than 3 things that I'm focusing on within my acting career, my life, and my business. And yeah, I will review those, and then I will, take the next actionable step that's going to be the highest contributing factor to achieving that thing. So I think for everybody, ultimately, let's not complicate it. Good evening, Caroline. And Tony says he started doing the 3 wins after I suggested it. 3 wins thing is good, guys. So let's not complicate this. So basically, what I would suggest everybody does is, when you know what you are working towards, to keep your motivation up on that thing, this all ties into what we've got tonight, do a little review every single morning for 5 minutes, no more than that. You don't need to stress about this thing. It can even be whilst you're in the shower. Okay, think about what you're aiming for right now and what the next actionable step is towards that thing. So it might be sending someone an email, it might be making a phone call, it might be organizing some folders on your computer if you're writing something, it might be starting a new Word document if you're going to write a script, or whatever it is. And think about, those 3 things that you're going to do that day, okay? And at the end of every day, regardless of whether you've completed those things or not, I still want you to write down 3 things you have achieved, so 3 wins. So if you set off in the morning with 3 things to do that day and you don't accomplish any of them, I still want you to write down at the end of every day 3 things that you have accomplished. And that might be that you just learnt that you were overburdening yourself with those 3 things at the start of the day. You're like, actually, you know what? This was too much for me for this day. Next time I'm going to chunk this down into more manageable steps. Another thing that you might be really happy about that day could be like simple things, not even to do with your goals, like you spent time with someone, you phoned somebody. But find 3 things in your life that you can celebrate from the end, at the end of that day that's happened that day. And then write down, again, that punch list for the next day. So ultimately, you kind of get up in the morning and every single day what it is you're working towards. Have you ever been late, Ross? And have you never achieved your goal? Fanny, I'm moving the goalposts of my goals all the time. That's something that you need to get used to as well, guys. You'll set your goals at the start of the year, and then things will change. Like you'll have things get in the way. You'll you might have technical hiccups if it's something to do with websites. Like I work a lot in websites, and sometimes, just today I updated a piece of software and it broke a site. Right now there's a site I run that is broken. Have you ever failed to see through a goal in a year though? Yeah, completely. So I set 12 goals at the start of a year, and there's always 2 or 3 a year that I'm like, right, okay, didn't nail that this year, or didn't get to it at all. I set a goal in 2015 to write a book. 2017, that still hasn't happened. It's just something that I'm like, right, okay, I'm learning about myself and actually what I can manage each year. I'll always hit 70% of my goals, but if I didn't set them in such a strategic way, Fanny, I wouldn't hit any of them. So reviewing your goals every day, in whichever way works for you, is essential to keep you on track. Most people fail their goals completely because they only check in with themselves once a year. They set a New Year's resolution and go, right, next year I'm going to check in whether I did that or not. And of course they didn't do it because they checked in once in 12 months. Check in like a minimum once a week. If you do that, you've got 52 times the chance than the people who just check in once. If you check in once a day, you've got 365 times more chance of fulfilling your goals, hitting your goals, fulfilling your dreams. So you've got to, you've got to, be constantly on it, effectively. Patrick said work-life balance. It depends what you want out of your life, Pat, to be honest with you, mate, and what you class as work-life balance. A lot of people class life as drinking, eating shit, getting pissed with their friends, and they go, oh, but you can't all do work. You got to have work-life balance. I go, what is your life that you are calling life? And if it is real low-quality things like that, then I'd suggest, you up your standards and you go, well, life for me is actually traveling, seeing new cities, seeing friends I haven't spent time with, in ages, seeing family I haven't spent time with in ages. That's life, and you can have a work-life balance around that. There's a lot of people I know what they class as life, and they'll give me stick for working on my business at the weekend, which is not like work for me. I love it. And they go, oh, but you've got to, it's not all work. You should come at the pub and get pissed with us. I'm like, seriously, boys, don't want to do it because it's just such a waste of time, money, and my health. That isn't life. You've got this whole life thing wrong, in my opinion. But yeah, it's that's just my opinion. Caroline says she's angry about some. Caroline, let us know as we read on what you're angry about. So Brennan says few things amplify our long-term motivation more than a positive social environment. Caroline's saying something about police now. Bloody hell! For those on the audio experience, this is getting serious. Caroline, give us some more info. I moved away, but they wanted to. You're gonna have to give me a surmised synopsis of this, Caroline. I've no idea what's going on. Someone hit you. Someone's bloody hit her. What? 3 chavs on the beach. Bloody hell! 3 chavs have hit Caroline on the beach. Crikey. Right. Well, Caroline, I hope you're all right. You must be if you've joined this scope. Chill out, sit back, listen to Brendan, and we'll sort everything out. So Brendan says, whom we interact with matters to our attitude and thus to our motivation. So chavs on the beach, Caroline, not people you want to hang out with, obviously. We want to hang out with better people than that. I'm not taking the mick. I do genuinely hope you're all right, but I'm sure if you're here, you are. Unfortunately, most people have allowed their motivation to be dampened by the social spheres to which they restrict themselves, okay? It's hard, though not impossible, to be highly motivated when surrounded by pessimists and jerks, all while living in the stress and chaos created by the drama queens and the absent-minded. It's also the rare individual who spends his day couch surfing and partying with drunken friends, then ends up stumbling on the secret to success and happiness. It just never happens. The woman with the demeaning boyfriend rarely feels motivated to be her best self, and the man working a dead-end job with an insulting boss and bored co-workers rarely feels motivated to contribute with excellence. How many times have you ended up working for a shit boss when you were in like a dead-end job? And you've had no motivation to actually like bring any excellence to that job because you're like, I'm going to get paid my minimum wage regardless because this guy is like such an idiot. I don't want to work for him. I've been there. When I used to work in retail, definitely been there. Many, many a time, says Steve. And Sam says so many. Yeah, that's classic. You have no motivation there at all. And that's because you surround yourself by shit people. For once and for all, we should distance ourselves from those with bad attitudes, for their energy is contagious and corrupting. We should remember our personal freedom. Just turning the page here, guys. One sec. Should remember our personal freedom is on the line, and so our social spheres mustn't hinder our self-expression or pursuit of things that are meaningful. And he's got a little quote here. He says, "For motivation's sake, we must be vigilant and surround ourselves with genuine and positive people who seek positive aims with positive attitudes." All right? And I bang on about it all the time, but I'm sure you'll agree if you're part of the Act on This Facebook group, that's exactly what we have. We've got 4,700 positive souls in the Acts on This Facebook group. So if you're not a member of that, facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. You've got to surround yourself with people in there because they are all super motivated people. So he says, let us be more disciplined in shaping our physical environments too, okay? And that's to amplify our emotions. We should love the spaces we spend our time in. I can't work unless my desk here is clean. Jennifer says, only the good people allowed. Jen, I have a thing, OQP. I probably told you before, only quality people. If you live by that, guys, you're all right, OQP. But yeah, if my desk is like a shithole and there's paper everywhere and invoices and stuff like that, I can't deal with it. My environment, if it's messy, my head's messy. So make sure your environment that you're supposed to work in inspires you as opposed to like brings you down. Who's got like a really nice place to work at home if you're writing emails and stuff? Give me some comments. Caroline's still talking about fighting fat, common, rough and horrible people. I hope you never come across them again, Caroline. Get out of there. Fanny says, and then I love it. Caroline must be all right because she says that she has to hoover. I love the way we go from being mugged to, wait a minute, I have to hoover if it's messy. No, absolutely. I'm exactly the same. Sam says he loves his space where he works. It's absolutely critical for me, honestly. Sometimes I go, when we do this one thing, guys, so one thing you can do for yourself sometimes when you're completely overwhelmed and you're feeling like anxious and you're like, shit, I don't know where to start. I can't start because I feel so overwhelmed. Ask yourself that question, what's the one thing I can do right now that makes everything else unnecessary, easier or unnecessary? And that can be the smallest thing. For me, that is often clean this office, because that's the one thing that's going to make everything else easier. Sometimes it might be eating. It doesn't have to be this big $1 million thing. But that's a really good, a good thing to do. If you need a reset, tidy up. If I see bits on the carpet, can't relax, says Caroline. Messy desk, because it's something. It's affirmations. What you've got? I think Gary. What's your desk full of affirmations, Gary? That's a positive thing if you've got positive affirmations on there. And Tony owns his own apartment, but he could do with a bit of cleaning. Give that a clean, Tony. But yeah, Brendan said we should have plenty of light and a space where we cannot be disturbed so that we can reflect, think, plan, make art. We should feel comfortable where we sleep and where we think. Our workspaces should inspire us, and we should have a ready contact list of other driven people to call upon when we need new inspiration. If we do not, again, we must make immediate changes to find and cultivate such relationships. If we lack a supportive place to live and work or a positive peer group, let it be our mission to manifest those things in our lives. Our environment matters, and so we shall shape it to lift us into the next realm of motivation and joy. Caroline loves a freshly vacuumed room. I love it, honestly, and there's nothing quite like clean linen on your bed, is there? It's inspiring. That's motivating in itself. So we want to look at now, guys, just to end this, the path from victimhood, okay? Those people who are like, oh, I've got no motivation, I can't be arsed. Victims, bullshit, I've got no time. Eventually I have no time for people like that. I'll try and try and try, and then if that's all I'm hearing time and time again, I'm like, there's nothing I can do for you because you're not helping yourself. You're just being a victim, and we've got to take people from victimhood to become victors, okay? Action creates motivation, says Fanny. Yes, it does, Fanny, absolutely. Attitude and effort, and then yeah, absolutely. The action you take, the environment you're in, the attitude you've got. It's all critical to ultimately manufacturing your own motivation. So you don't have to always watch a motivational video to get fired up. You can create it within you. So these are the differences between people who effectively are going to be winners and people who are going to be losers. All right. And Brendan's got different quotes from them that reflects how he wants us to be, and also this is how I want you guys to be. All right. So I'll just read you this. He says, choose an ambition, and with full force expect that it is possible. All right. So if you're like after your acting career or whatever it is you're doing right now, you've got to choose that thing and expect that it is possible, and that you can make it happen. Right. Give constant attention and committed effort to your dreams, and your motivation will perpetuate itself. Okay, demonstrate a positive attitude as you strive for great things and take care to create a supportive environment around you that amplifies your motivation. So these are messages here for the ultimately for two different types of people. Okay, he says they say, these are the losers. Okay, I am waiting for something or someone to motivate me. Okay, we say motivation is summoned only from within. All right. Fanny says, oh God. Yeah, all right. So they say, I am waiting for something or someone to motivate me. We say motivation is summoned only from within. Okay. So that's rule number one. You've got to be responsible for your own motivation. They say, I do not feel motivated. I'm just not a motivated person. Okay? We say, motivation is not an impulse of the body or a personality trait. It is an intention and will of a free and conscious mind. So it's got to be your intention to just wake up motivated. All right? It's not something you are. It's not a personality trait. It's not biological. It's not something you were born with. You've got to choose your intention. Okay? Damn right, says Fanny. Okay? They say, I'll get more motivation and work harder when my job gives me more pay, autonomy, and responsibility. That's bullshit. We say, if you have not chosen to be motivated before, that is why you do not have more pay, autonomy, and responsibility. All right? Effort gives you motivation, and motivation gives you reward. You should see my face right now, says Caroline. Well, I hope it's not like battered and bruised, Caroline. And I hope you've not got any little specks on the carpet. Otherwise, you're going to be up bloody hoovering, and you should be resting. All right? But yeah. So if you've not chosen to be motivated before, don't wait to be motivated, because you're never going to be motivated. Ultimately, you've not got the reward you want because you've never been motivated in the past. So you're never going to get the reward. Sandy, good evening. You're never going to get the reward until you actually begin motivating yourself and you do some shit, as opposed to just waiting for someone else to do that for you. Okay, so they say, the people around me keep killing my motivation. Biggest lesson I've learned since joining Act on this. Nice one, Fanny. What, that you've got to motivate yourself? Because that's good if you've learned that lesson. So yeah, so they say, the people around me keep killing my motivation. Again, bullshit, right? You are choosing the people around you. But regardless, motivation is of your own will and volition. It is imperishable and cannot be granted, diminished, or killed by others. It exists within you because you want it to. The birth, life, and death of each day's motivation are subject to your own direction. So true. It's just like Caroline says, true. It's just up to you, ultimately. They say, well, I haven't had any major life experiences that have motivated me, like a lucky break or a life event that made me find my purpose. Bullshit again. You were born. That's 400 trillion to 1. If that's not going to motivate the shit out of you, don't know what is. We say, purpose does not strike as a lucky lightning bolt of inspiration. Motivation and purpose are choices. The only thing needed to spark motivation is a decision to heighten your ambition and expectancy. To sit down, think about what you desire, and believe you can go get it. To keep that motivation, you must give constant attention and effort. Okay, and then lastly, they say, sometimes I just feel lazy. All right, and I'm sure we've all said that. But this is what we say, okay? Then choose to feel something else. Laziness is a choice, just as any other feeling can be a choice. Okay, understand that life is short and that choosing laziness for the long term will lead to a life that is slave to impulse and littered with regrets. Only in choosing to energize yourself will you finally go out into the world, discover who you are, grow, actualize your dreams, and become free and great. Boom! Oh, I've got rosy cheese. Got a bit passionate at the end there. And I'm going to finish on that, basically. It is literally, it's all about choice, guys. It's all about choice, and this week it's all about attitude and environment. And I just want you to work on your attitudes effectively to life and towards getting shit done. And realizing, like I said, just to be here, you beat the odds of 400 trillion to 1 to be a human being. If your mum had reached for another glass of wine on the night that you were conceived, you would not be here. All right? So many things had to go. Jen says, choose life. Definitely choose life. So many things had to go incredibly in your favor for you to just be born. 400 trillion to 1, that's like real shit. That's like crazy odds. Crazy odds. You've got like more chance of winning the Euro Millions like 15 times on the run than you have of actually being born. And if that doesn't motivate you to actually get up and use the life you've been gifted, I just don't know what does. I'm going to put up a picture. I just put this up before because ultimately I think it's very, very simple motivation. And it comes down to this. Steve says wine. That's the reason I'm here. Because his mum did have a couple of wines too much. Well, I'm very glad she did, Steve. It's good that you're here, dude. It comes out of this, guys. Yeah, this little quote here. It comes down to one simple thing. How much do you really want it? Okay? Give me some hearts if you want it. Okay? For those new on the scope, you've got to tap the screen. On the desktop, I don't know what you have to do to give hearts on Periscope, actually. The hearts are coming through. Because if you really, really want it, guys, you are going to find a way to become motivated, all right? If you don't really want it, then you're just going to find an excuse. It's as simple as that. You'll give me an excuse for why you couldn't do it, how you were tired that morning, you know, how nothing's gone right for you recently, how you have no time, you have no money, you have no support. You know, it's all just bullshit. That's what scares me, that I don't want it enough, says Carrie May. Well, that's interesting. I'm sure, I mean, what is it that you're thinking about when you're asking yourself that question, Carrie May? What is it that you want? You're like, you know, because you might just not have quite found it yet. You know, is it, you know, the thing that you're referring to, is it like, you know, I just don't know if I really want to act. I'm that bothered about it. I say this, you know, I said this quite a while ago to all you guys. I was like, look, you know, for me, my acting career really isn't the be all and end all in terms of like, you know, if that's all I had in my life, I'd be pretty miserable and pretty unfulfilled. I've got so many other outlets and avenues in my life. I'm talking to an actor today, and we're going to start writing a new sitcom. Carrie May wants to write as well. Wicked, awesome. Well, yeah, we've got a pretty special project, I think, that can't say anything about just yet. I really can't say anything about, but something that I really want to do. The website stuff I love, like broadcasting like this, presenting I love. If someone said, Ross, you can just do repertory theatre for the rest of your life, I'd probably just go, forget it. Just kill me now. So for me, yeah, a lot of actors will be like, oh my God, that's sacrilegious, saying that you're not bothered whether you have your acting career or not. No, I am. I want it. But it's not like, you know, I wouldn't absolutely go to the end of the earth for it, because there's so many other things that I want as well. And I want a rich life, not just doing one thing. That's my dream, Ross, just doing theatre, says Fanny. Well, Fanny's nothing stopping you. If you really want it, if that is your thing, how much do you really want it? If that is your thing, then you're going to find a way. But also, you know, on the other hand as well, you know, for me, walking away from the acting industry is unthinkable. So not having it in my life, I've thought of that a few times, going, you know what, if I just went into creating online businesses and into internet marketing, because it fascinates me. I love it so much, a massive passion of mine. And I've thought on many occasions I could make so much more money just doing that. But then I've thought, well, you know what, walking away from the acting industry, and I've kind of visualized it in my head, I can't do it. I absolutely can't do it. There is something in this industry that comes down to performing and being creative that I can't live without. So it's a bit of a juxtaposition for me. I kind of like really want it, but at the same time, I think, you know what it comes down to? For me, it's actually, you know what, I get so much out of the process, I don't actually require the end goal. It's like, you know what, if I make it or not, I'm just going to have a damn good time trying. And I almost like love, I don't know, sometimes I enjoy the process more than the actual gig, more than actually, you know, the actual thing. Which is interesting. So for me, yeah, when you can fall in love with the process, then you've won both ways. Whether you actually get that big thing or not, you just enjoy your life going for it regardless. But yeah, I think if people do really want it, really want something, you're going to find a way to do it. You're going to find a way to be motivated. And those days where you do wake up and go, I just feel like being lazy, you're you've got to manufacture that motivation from within. And you can do that by putting yourself in the right environment, being inspired by people in the right environment, focusing your attention on the thing that you want, putting in enough effort. That's going to keep your motivation up. So yeah, it's interesting. But let me know let me know what you think about Brendan's book so far. It's the third week we spent on it. We've got one more week on this next week. I don't know what we're going to look at. So far we looked at fear. Like I said, we looked at taking enough action. Tonight we looked at motivation. Don't know what I'm going to surprise you with next week. Love that. What are some things you love about the process, Ross? Oh, just, you know what? Just discovering new stuff and new tactics to do things, Tony. I really enjoy... Do you know what? Because I'm so fascinated by people as well, the acting industry is just so rich in terms of the people you come across, because you're working with many, many different people all the time. It's not like a 9-to-5 job in an office where you might be working with the same person potentially for 35 or 40 years and then you both retire. The acting industry, every single job, so completely different, isn't it? You're meeting different casting directors, different actors, different, runners. Don't have to be, like super, famous people or whatever, just on a set, you're meeting everybody from the third assistant director, to the editor, to the sound engineer. So many different people you meet, and I love that. I love hearing about people's stories, their own, just love talking to people, really. So that's a massive thing that I enjoy. I love, hello from Brighton. Hello, Timo. Timo's here. What else about the process do I love? I just love learning stuff. So I love failing or succeeding, because I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to do better next time regardless. Very big believer in there's no failures as long as you are learning something. I love creating just anything. I'm a geek, so I love cameras, Tony. I love mastering technology myself. So not just being in front of the camera, I love being behind the camera. Filming stuff. That's why I do the whole Act on This TV episodes, the full video interviews with 3 cameras. I edit all of those myself. I color grade them all myself. I do all the sound mixing myself. There's just so much voiceover. Absolutely love doing that. You get to meet so many different people in that. You get to be the voice of. What I love about voiceover is every time you go to a studio to do a different job, regardless of whether that, the thing that you are voicing for somebody, to you might be so boring. I mean, I've had to voice, I've had to voice a promo video once for receptacles that men wee into in hospital. Now, for me, I have no interest in that. But what I love is the fact that the client, the person I was working for, to them, this was like 6 months' work for them, 6 months of their life. They were so excited about it because they've put in all this effort. They've focused their attention. They've been motivated that entire 6 months to get this product to market. And now they're looking at me to be like the icing on the cake to put, to basically voice this promotional video for them that is going to sell their product and hopefully make it a success for them. And I love that. I love seeing people get excited about what they do. That's lovely to see, to go, you know what, yeah, I've got my passions, but for someone else, their passion is designing cardboard bowls men wee into in hospital. And that's what I love. That's part of the process I like. So you get to see other people's creative journeys and where they've come from to to finish product. There's just so much. It's such like a rich, the acting industry and the voiceover industry, and ultimately the gift that we have of the internet that enables you to watch me right now. Piss Pots. I don't think it was called Piss Pots, Steve, but that would be a good brand name, just in case it was. Yeah, I don't know. It's just such a rich... Life's just rich, isn't it? I think human beings are just fascinating, and the more you can interact with them, the better, I think. Simple as that. So that's many parts of the process that I enjoy. And I just love technology and seeing new platforms. I'm telling everybody at the moment, get yourself on Instagram. I stayed away from Instagram for so long. Thinking it wasn't a platform that would, develop into that much or wouldn't be very useful for actors. I was proved completely wrong. Now I'm massively bullish on Instagram. I love using new technology to get my message across and out there and just testing stuff out. Absolutely love that. Just everything. What do you guys like about the process? What things do you enjoy when you're not actually like working on the job, but actually you have an acting gig? What part of the process do you like? Auditions, I'm not a massive fan of. That's a huge part of the process. I don't think I've met anyone who absolutely loves auditions. Love hearing what brings others joy and the way they think, says Tony. Well, what do you enjoy, Tony? What's the part of the process for you that you love? Because I'm interested as well. I love a script, says Caroline. Yeah, and that's that script is someone's absolute life. The person who's written it, they probably potentially put years into that, and then they're giving it to you to go. Here you go. This is so important to me, and it's down to you now to take that off the page. Tony loves surprises, like it when he doesn't hit a goal and he finds something different or better. Yeah, that's sometimes the case. Absolutely. So this writing project I was talking about today started off last night as something very different. The guy I'm writing it with woke up at 2:30 in the morning, sent me a message at 2:31, going, "Oh my God, I've just had this idea, and it's putting a completely different spin on what we already thought was good." Woke up this morning and they phoned me, and it's genius. It's absolutely genius, but it's turned into something completely different, which I love. Love that kind of thing. I love finding more depth with a character, says Fanny. Sam, I missed your comment there, mate. Sorry, mate. Put that again. Meeting different folk because they're all different, says Sandy. Absolutely. That's, again, something I love, Sandy. Absolutely. Just love meeting people. I love researching the scripts and the character, says Jen. Yeah, absolutely. Massive part of your job as an actor. Which is an interesting one. And Sam says basically what Sandy said. So yeah, so researching character and stuff. Yeah, and as actors, you get to play so many different characters as well. Just kind of exploring behaviour, isn't it? I like learning more about myself through plays and classes, says Tony. Ditto, says Fanny. There's so many. I don't know. I think acting particularly, it's probably like a richer industry than most of the professions on the planet, because ultimately, you can just be anything you want, effectively. It's super, super creative. And your only limit is really your imagination, isn't it? So we're pretty lucky to be part of it, I think. I love chaperoning kids on set, learn different things from different perspectives and people. I think you can learn so much from kids as well, in terms of just their attitudes and their motivation. Performing is fun, but the depth of human experience we get from it is a really cool part. Yeah, it's wicked. Honestly, it's really, really good. Bringing the makeup cart is fun, says Caroline. Yeah, Jen, who's on here tonight, if Jen's still here, makeup artist. She's very, very good at painting faces. Follow Just Jennifer TV on Instagram. It's there's just so many things. So ultimately, guys, to kind of recap and to sum up, don't rely on other people motivating you. You shouldn't be doing that. It's always great to get a kick of external motivation by watching something inspirational. I definitely recommend doing that. My friend Nav, who runs that Absolute Motivation channel on YouTube, definitely subscribe to that. If you do need an external kick when you are struggling, watching one of Nav's videos will get you fired up. But ultimately, you've got to realise that motivation is a choice. It's not a personality trait or something that you kind of you're born with. It's something you choose to have at any given moment. And you can put yourself in those environments where that's more likely to happen than not. So make sure you're in an environment that inspires you. You're surrounded by people who inspire you, not by people who drain your batteries and bring you down and are constantly complaining about the state of the country and the state of the acting industry and how everything's unfair and all that bullshit. That's nonsense. And look at where you're focusing your attention and your effort. And like we said on last week's book club, if you're taking massive action by default, your results are always going to be good, if not great. So sometimes you've just got to kick yourself in the backside, get up, motivate yourself, take massive action, and then by default you're going to get good results that are going to motivate you anyway. So then that feedback loop kind of begins. So it's been useful. But yeah, it's it's critical. It's absolutely critical to your success that you get up every day excited about being alive. I'm going to start carrying mace. That's my motivation, says Caroline. Caroline, you know what? If you're hanging around chavs on a beach, carry that mace. We don't want you getting into trouble again. Absolutely not. Caroline, where are you then? So if you're on are you on holiday or something? Let us know where you where you are and how you got into this trouble. Because we can't be having this. This is not happening again. You're not going there again if you've gone away. It's clearly not where you're supposed to be. Oh no, I live... What, Gower? I go beach every day. What, you live in Where's Gower? You don't mean Goa. You don't live in India. You live in Wales, don't you? Oh, he's Gower Peninsula. Right, I'm staying clear of the Gower Peninsula then, Caroline. Everybody, let's make a fun to get Caroline out of there. Google it, she says. I'll have a little Google. I'll check that out. We won't be coming there for holiday, though, Caroline. No offence. Particularly not with you, because maybe they'll target you again. They won't, I'm joking. It's just a joke. It's a bad joke. It's just a bad joke. Beautiful countryside and beaches. Maybe we will check it out. Steve's going to set you up a Just Giving page, Caroline, so that's good. Awesome. Right, well, cheers, guys. Appreciate this. I'm going to start a competition soon, by the way. You might have seen it in the Facebook group. And I'm currently asking people to vote on what prize they would like as the grand prize. So far, I think the most popular one is a showreel shoot with Chris Stone Films. Okay, that's like a £300 prize, I think. The other things up for grabs are things like a year's membership to Spotlight, a year's membership to Acts on This, an Amazon Echo. What other stuff was there? There's a few things that I put in there. So do vote if you've not voted already. It's facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. Let us know what you want, and I'm going to set up a competition. It's going to be super interactive. Can we have an interview with you? That would be the other thing that Fanny suggested, would be to literally have, to come and film an Acts on This TV episode where I interviewed you, like I would do with one of these actors, or, like a famous director or something like that. And that's definitely like something I'd be interested in doing, because I think genuinely, like, we can learn from anybody, regardless of whether you're on Downton Abbey or something like that. Like the next episode Rob Collier's on, that releases on Friday. There's so much to learn from just people who are just still on the journey to to get where they want to go. So that is something that might be interesting to do, regardless of whether it is as a prize or whether we just do it. I just do that anyway. Every few months we just choose somebody from the community who's contributing. I would just pluck them out and go, right, come and have a chat. That could be interesting. So do vote. Facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. You'll find my post in there. Give us a vote on that. Let me know what you'd like to win, and I'll come up with a competition that's going to be fun and exciting to do that. There should be an Acts on This Chicago meetup. Tony, you are our Chicago correspondent. I would like you to sort that out. You'd probably be the only one there, mate. Who else was there? There was someone else on here who was from Chicago, wasn't there? Can't remember who it was. But there is someone else who watches the live Periscopes who's from Chicago. So you could have 2 people there, Tony, at least. I'd love that to happen, particularly if you printed out a picture of the logo on a piece of paper of Acts on This and held it up, post it in the Facebook group. I'd blow my mind. That would be incredible. We have 3 people from Chicago, says Fanny. Well, there you go. 3's a crowd. We've got a crowd. Get them there, Tony. Get them to your Starbucks, mate. And let's do it. I know who you're talking about. We connected on Twitter, said Tony. Awesome. That's cool. Caroline's apologising for some. Caroline, don't apologise for being whatever, battered and bruised on the beach. None of that. Don't worry. No apologies necessary. It's awesome, guys. Right, I'm going to release on Friday as well, just to finish. Robert James Collier from Downton Abbey played Thomas. Going to release his interview, episode 7 of Acts on This TV, over at www.actonthis.tv. It's going to be available to all premium members of the site. Premium membership costs just £10 a month. The revenue raised from premium membership goes to charity, as well as funding the website. And ultimately helps me bring on bigger and bigger and bigger guests. So if you're not a premium member yet, please upgrade. It's £2.50 a week. Ultimately gets you access at the moment to 150 hours of some of the greatest acting career advice from some of the biggest names in the industry. Casting directors, producers, writers, and I'm talking the biggest names. Literally the biggest casting directors in the UK are on there. So people like Andy Pryor, who cast Doctor Who, Kelly Valentine Henry and Victor Jenkins, who cast Broadchurch, Jill Trevelyan, who cast Downton Abbey. Massive names. They're not just like little plastic casting directors. These are the people who you would be absolutely honoured to audition for. If you want to find out how they cast, how you can get in touch with them, what they like to see and what they don't, subscribe, upgrade your membership to premium. You'll get access to all of that. If you're not a premium member, you'll still get 15-minute previews of these interviews, and you're going to get a 15-minute preview of Rob's interview that's out on Friday. And I'm now going to give you a 1-minute preview that a lot of you will have seen before, but this is just for people who haven't, of Rob completely playing up in this interview that I'm going to release. Fanny says, is that Letters to Your Younger Self book coming out anytime soon? It's definitely, I looked at it just yesterday, Fanny. It's definitely something that I'm going to publish at some point. Right now, it can't be top of the list because there's a few other things that I need to do. But all those letters people wrote to their younger selves and submitted through the website, I have saved. They're all safe, and I will absolutely. I promised people I would publish them in an ebook at some point. I'm going to do that because I think we can all learn from those. It's cool, really, really good. Awesome. So here's Rob. Like the full interview is an hour and 15 minutes. You're going to get that this Friday. That is the 21st of April for those listening on the audio experience, or if you're catching up on the replay. If it's the 21st of April or after, it will be available on atsonthis.tv right now. Thanks, Ross. I'm getting lots of thanks from people. Thank you very, very much for being here. Really, do appreciate you. Seriously, everyone on the audio experience, appreciate you giving me your ear on YouTube. Massive thanks to you as well for catching up on this. Thanks, Jen. Thanks, Fanny. Thank you all. And Caroline, get your hoovering done and bloody keep yourself safe. No more of that. Thank you, Julia. Who are all these other people? It's all going past so quick. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you, Sadie. I think it's still there. Thank you, Gary. Enjoy. This is Rob completely taking the piss out of me. It's a very funny interview. You're going to enjoy it. Friday, it'll be out about 9:30 a.m. All right, until then, bye for now. Stay safe. Stay safe.
Always been good at fielding either offers
I thought you were going to say feeling then. Like, whoa, what's going on here? Sorry, relax now. This is me now. This is relaxed. I don't like big intros.
We're getting the real
stuff
Rob
like
here.
that. Yeah.
Well, you took, because I was like in your flat a lot, and I
Well,
heard
that
you.
sounds wrong. Let me just explain, people. He voluntarily came to my flat. He wasn't held there against his own will. And just in case they edit it, he voluntarily came to my flat. He wasn't held against his own will. Sorry. Yes.
Is he
But
prayed
lean away
up
from
all
the
right
mic.
now? Yeah.
I've jumped the lens, mate. We're revolutionising this.
I knew it was going to be like this. I knew this was
You
going
can
to
go
happen.
with a two-shot on that one.
don't.
Don't panic. We've got the two-shot covered.
Right, it's fine.
That's a two-shot, right, is it? Yeah, we're fine.
So you turned down. This is ridiculous.
Don't you point your finger at me.
You this is literally ridiculous.
Right, relaxed. I had to do that to relax.
You're in it now.
I'm in.
So you turned
It's
down.
like being in the Crucible World Snooker finalists. It's tension, it's quiet. Sorry, go on.